This is AndyTube. I'm just finishing up with the restoration of the Singer Model 503A. So I was just doing a little final fine-tuning and testing the stitches. So I thought I'd fill some of it. And I usually use some different materials. This is a 2-ply paper towel, 4 layers. I just use this so I can see the stitch formation. I'm using a 50 weight thread, 50 or 60 weight thread, a number 12 needle, and a stitch length of 6. I'll just run it out here. And it's been coming out real good. I've been using about a 3.5 to 4 setting on the tension for straight stitch, and zigzag up to number 3 width. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'll film some of the stitching closer at the end of the video. But it's been a good balanced stitching. I haven't had any timing issues with it or skipping stitches. Let me go to number 3 width zigzag at about 10 per inch. Nice and smooth. I'll go to number 5 width, which is about the widest I can go, and I'll go a little closer stitch, maybe up around 15 per inch. See, it's puckering just a little, so I'll drop the tension down to 3. Yep. Real good. So let's do some fabrics here. This is just a couple layers of polyester cloth, light to medium weight with a lightweight liner. You can see some of my other testing on there, but I like to use this because I can see the black thread on top and the gold thread on the bottom, so I can test my stitches pretty good here. And my pressure bar dial is dialed into number 4 here. Let's do that same zigzag stitch and see how it looks. I'm going to lighten up the pressure a little bit, or the tension a little bit more, because it's a wide stitch and it's lightweight fabric. That makes it lie a little flatter on there. And there's the bottom and the top. I should probably lighten that pressure up a little for this lightweight of a fabric too. Let's just do a number straight stitch, 12 length. Of course, there's no problem penetrating any of this stuff. I just like to see that it's a good, clean, balanced stitch, and that it's locking, the stitch is locking between the two pieces of fabric. Here is some denim. This is a heavier weight. I don't know if it's a 12 ounce or 14 ounce denim. You can see I've practiced quite a bit on it with this machine and other machines, but I'll run it through a straight stitch right down that red Sharpie line and take a look at it. This I would go to number 6. I'm going to put my tension back to about 4 and my pressure bar pressure back to 4, and get this in the start position and go. So again, there's not any penetration problems. This is not a denim needle. I'm just using a standard top stitch needle. But what I'm interested in is now I'm going to do some more of a penetration type to see that the power's there and the motor's not hesitating. I restored the foot pedal, took it all apart and cleaned carbons and contacts and everything. So I've got a typical 4 layers of denim seam right there, and then of course there's another layer under it, so it would be 5 layers of this denim, and I'll just want to make sure I can sew through that without any problems. Yep. Sorry, some of the fabric caught on the toe of my presser foot. So there's not a problem with penetration on that. Here is some multi-layer. This is a pair of white denim Levi's, a pocket from it, and then I have a layer of fleece in there, and then I have 2 layers of calico cotton, and finally a back layer of flannel. So it would be kind of like a quilting experience. And I'm going to sew a finer stitch here, about lock this in about a 12 stitches per inch. Just decided to sew backwards instead of turning it around, because with the reverse lever over here you can reverse on the fly, you know, as it's sewing forward or reverse. So it went through all of that, and this isn't a quilting needle or anything. Like I said, it's just a number 12 top stitch. So no problem with layers. I think I'll skip some of this other lighter weight stuff and just do a piece of leather belt here. So I'm going to just leave this standard number 12 needle in here. Of course, if I was going to be sewing a lot of leather, I would want to use a leather needle, and I would probably change this to a roller foot or a walking foot. But just to test that I can penetrate something like this and sew and not skip any stitches, oops, or anything like that, I'll come here and I just first do a straight stitch, the longest stitch, number 6, and I'll leave the pressure at 4, I think, and let's take a look. And about halfway through here, I'm going to go to a number 4 zigzag for the heck of it. I'm going to lighten up my tension here to about 2.5, I think, because it's thick enough that a zigzag is going to put a lot of pressure on that thread going back and forth, so I want a lighter tension. And I'll go to a closer stitch, about 12 per inch, and we'll see how it does with a zigzag on this. Okay, so even though it's not a leather needle, it didn't have any problems. The top stitching looks great. Let's come down here to the gold bottom stitching. I'm just barely seeing a little bit of the top black thread here, so I probably didn't have to go down to a 2. I probably could have left it maybe like a 3, but it's still a real good looking stitch. So satisfied with all this, let me put a little bit longer piece of thread here and just do a full out speed test for the heck of it. I'll do about a number 12 again, so I can get quite a few stitches in this length of fabric. Straight, let me go back to straight. 3.5 to 4, 4. No problem with that. Come over here a little. I'll go to the long stitch, 6. Alright. Yeah, I'm happy. I think I got everything adjusted right. See if we can get a better look at some of these stitches if you care to see them. Get behind the camera here so I can see a little bit better. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I need to tilt this tripod a little bit. See if I can focus on some of these down here. Sorry, I'm not much of a videographer. That's the top stitch, 12 stitches per inch, and then 6 stitches per inch. And the bottom is going to be harder to see because it's kind of a wrinkly fabric with light gold on pink, so skip that. Here's my several layers here, these two. We did a little freestyle up at the top. So if I was monogramming or quilting, there's the back side, there's the bobbin thread on the bobbin. Look good. Not going to really be able to see that very well. How about these over here? Could have even gone lighter. See, it's puckered a little on that zigzag on the bottom. I could have gone with a lighter tension. The straight stitch was good. Let's look at the bottom stitching. See, that puckering didn't show up as much on the black fabric. It's a little thicker. But the lock stitch is good. It's locking between the fabric. This was just my lock stitch testing on the 4 layers of paper. My straight, my zigzag. And here was the test on the belt scrap. The black is this machine, and then I went to the zigzag, and let's see this gold under my thumb is the bottom stitching. You can see I kind of malformed one stitch here when I stopped sewing and I went from straight to zigzag. Right there I have a zig but no zag. But then it's normal. And the straight stitch bottom stitch. So that's it. I'm pretty much finished with this restoration now. I just got to put a few layers of carnauba wax on here, and then I'll be listing it for sale on Craigslist. Nice heavy duty machine, Singer Model 503A. Thanks for tuning in, and you can see other videos of this on my channel, this particular machine. So I went through some of the processes, and I've got 280 some videos on there now of other Singer machines. So I hope you stop by, leave a comment, ask a question, and come back and see me. Take care.